Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about my article and the title is Development of Questionnaire Instrument to Assess Student Transformative Competencies in Science Learning. My name is Lili Trusyati. I come from Science Education School of Postgraduate Studies, Universitas Pendidikan, Indonesia. I have three supervisors. The first one, Professor Nuriani Rustaman, and the second one, Professor Ari Widodo from Science Education School of Postgraduate Studies, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, and my third supervisor is Professor Min Suha from Division of Science Education, College of Education, Gangwon National University, Korea. This paper presents for International Conference on Mathematics and Science Education 2021. The first one, let's see part 1, Introduction. A project of the Future of Education and Skill 2030 has been launched by Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development or OECD in 2018. Why this project used a year 2030? Because the student when entered in 2018 into school period, after 12 years education, they will become young adults. So they will come to the jobs and then the career. So this project also support the UN 2030 project or sustainability development and education in number 4. So learning process can facilitate students to find a job, technology and solution that have not yet been created. And then the aim of this project is to answer two main questions: what and how knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values can be developed in education. The next, let's see the framework. This is the OECD Learning Framework 2030. We have three domains: knowledge, skills, attitude, and values. Three domains will be transferred into competencies. And based on the OECD Learning Framework 2030, there are three transformative competencies. The first one, creating new value. The second one, reconciling tension and dilemmas. And the third, taking responsibility. And education not only in school, but integrated process between parents, teachers, peers, and communities. And the next part 2 about the method. A total of 445 students from 10 schools representing 5 provinces in Indonesia participated in this study. From Special Capital Region of Jakarta and then North Sumatra, South Sumatra, Riau, and West Java. Participants consist 222 students from 7th grade, 91 students from 8th grade, and 132 students from 9th grade, with the proportion of male students as many as 174, while 271 female students. This questionnaire instrument consists of 39 statements with 5 Likert scales. Scale 1, not at all typical of me. Scale 2, not very typical of me. Scale 3, somewhat typical of me. Scale 4, fairly typical of me. And scale 5, very typical of me. And this questionnaire was developed based on three transformative competencies, or TC, namely creating new value, reconciling tension and dilemmas, and taking responsibility, developed by Directorate for Education and Skill OECD. The collected data were processed with IBM SPSS statistic version 25 and with step-RAS model to analyze the validity and reliability of the questionnaire. And let's see the result. We have three main results in this article. The first one about the reliability index, and the second one, validity index, and the last one about the profiling of transformative competencies. Let's see part 1, 3.1 about the reliability index. We have reliability index of transformative competencies questionnaire shown in table 1. Based on the data, the number of the participant, and then the number of the test item. For all competencies, 39 statements or 39 items, we have two type analysis. The first one, person reliability and item reliability, use RAS model. and Krombach Alpha use SPSS. And the results show for the person reliability, all competencies 0.94, for the indicator 1 or dimension 1, creating new value 0.82, dimension 2, reconciling tension and dilemmas 0.85, and taking responsibility 0.87. And about the item reliability 0.97, 0.98, 0.95, and 0.87. For the Krombach Alpha, all competencies 0.96, creating new value 0.86, reconciling tension and dilemmas 0.90, and taking responsibility 0.92. So we can see in here the reliability index more than 0.8. So this means this questionnaire, which consists of 39 items or statements, have high credibility. And let's see the part 1, but the validity index 3.2. Student response were analyzed using IBM SPSS statistic version 25 for validity index, and value of R table for sample 400 up to 590 sample is 0.128 at 0.01 or 1% significance level. If the value of R test or RXY more than R table, then the item in the questionnaire is declared valid. So based on the analysis, the result of the calculation, all questionnaire items, 39 items, are included in the valid category. And the last result, we can see 3.3, profiling of students' transformative competencies. Based on our subject, or based on our sample, more than 400 students in junior high school student, the instrument has high reliability and high validity. So we can capture or we can profile of the student transformative competencies. There are 3 student transformative competencies. The first one in transformative competencies on creating new value. This one, 5 scales. So transformative competencies on creating new value was constructed by 4 indicators. Adaptability, TC1 up to TC3, creativity, TC4 up to TC6, curiosity, TC7 up to TC9, and the last open-minded, TC10 up to TC12. All indicators represent fairly typical of me for highest response, except on creativity. 2 items describe somewhat typical of me, and TC number 4 respond on not very typical of me. This item is I can offer new solution when there are problems while studying science. So this fact will be changed for us, for education, for teacher, how to improve students' creativity in science learning. And the number 2, competencies number 2, about the reconciling tension and dilemmas. Transformative competencies on reconciling tension and dilemmas was constructed by 4 indicators. The first one, integrated Y, TC13 up to TC15, interrelation, TC16 up to TC18, logic and position, TC19 up to TC21, and perspectives, TC22 up to 24. All indicators represent fairly typical of me for highest response, except on interrelation and perspective. This indicator describes somewhat typical of me. And the last transformative competencies about the taking responsibility. Transformative competencies on taking responsibility constructed by 5 indicators. The first one, think and work, TC25 up to 27, consequences, TC28 up to 30, evaluation, TC31 up to 33, accountability, TC34 up to TC6, and reflection, TC37 up to 39. Almost all indicators represent fairly typical of me for highest response. But in these competencies, we can see a response in scale very typical of me, which is not available for another two competencies before. And the last, we can see conclusion. The follow-up questionnaire has a high reliability value of 0.96 for Chrombe alpha and 0.94 for person reliability and 0.97 for item reliability. Validity index declares good validity for all items in the questionnaire. Generally, student profiles are on a fairly typical of me scale, except for TC4 statement. I can offer new solution when there are problems while studying science, which is not very typical of me. This result provide opportunities for further study to increase student creativity in science learning. To sum up, questionnaire instrument to assess student transformative competencies can be used for further research. That's all presentation for me. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.